Hey guys, so a couple days ago I went and saw Kingsman this Golden Circle. This was a movie I was really looking forward to because I was a big fan of the first Kingsman. I thought it was a great comedy. Hell, there's a review for it somewhere in the archives of my reviews on YouTube. Back in 2015 when it came out, I reviewed it and really fucking liked it back then. Still do. I haven't seen it much. I haven't seen it much since I first saw it, but I have seen bits and pieces. I still fucking love that movie. It was a really goddamn good parody of like spy movies, but also while also being a really good spy movie at that. And it was also just crazy violent. Like it was from the director of Make Kick-Ass. So what do you expect? And I was like, when I heard they're making a sequel, I was like, hell yeah, I'm fine with this becoming a franchise. This easily can become a franchise that I can get behind. And like, I went into this not knowing much about the sequel because I really hadn't got much as far as trailers. The only trailer I have ever got for this film was like the teaser trailer that plays Frank Sinatra's "My Way." I just knew there's a big giant cast in it. That's about it. And it's also Colin Firth was coming back. I'm like, cool. So I'm like, all right, I'm fine with that. And it's from Matthew Vaughn, the same guy who made the first one. He's also did X-Men First Class, Kick Ass, and everything. Like I'm all on board for this. And yeah, I didn't mind the sequel. I mean, this movie hasn't been getting great reviews. And I heard some people like, is this movie really terrible? Is it really as terrible as people make it out to be? I'm like, no, not really. It has a lot of problems. It's not as good as the first one. I have some big problems with it, but I still enjoyed it. I still laughed my butt off. I found myself like enjoying it. I wasn't ever bored really. Like I said, there was problems to it, but I still liked it enough that I was like, yeah, it was pretty good. It was a fine sequel. Didn't make me. I wouldn't mind seeing more of these films, even if this movie wasn't as good as the first one. They can still improve upon the problems and make a third one. That'll be fine. I pretty much the main thing I loved about this movie was the same thing I loved about the first movie, and that is like the cast that comes back for this one from the first one, and including Taron Egerton, who's fantastic as Aggie, and he's a really likable character. His chemistry between him and Colin Firth is fantastic. Like it has been was in the first one. Mark Strong is great again, like as this like the guy that stays behind and like helps them on their missions. This movie it's kind of funny because there's a lot of characters that return from the first one, and then there's characters that like I was like, was they in the first one? Because I haven't seen the first one in a while. Like Dumbledore, the guy who played Dumbledore in like the last few Harry Potter films, pops up out of nowhere. Michael Gambon is like is Merlin, or I'm like, was he in the fucking films? I said, I really don't fucking remember him being in these films. It's like, all right, I guess he is, but all right, fuck it, why not? He's the leader of the Kingsmen, and then he just fucking dies within 20 minutes. If you've seen the trailer for any of the trailers for this movie, the Kingsman headquarters get blown up, and he's dead. So is the one girl from the first one that was a recruit along with Aggie in the first one, and Aggie's dog, which was kind of sad. I was like, oh, his dog, that dog that he had to shoot and that ends up getting blown up. And I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks. The movie still has some of the same goddamn off-color humor that the first one did. I mean, there's a scene where he's got to plant a bug, like a tracking bug in a woman's, and he has to finger her, basically. And it's like the only way he can do it is stick her in her vagina. And it's like, huh. I was like, Okay, whatever. It's like this is kind of a parody of James Bond movies, but it also seems like something that would happen in a James Bond movie. There's like a lot of weird things I'll talk about here in a second, but this movie does that were kind of funny. I even like Julianne Moore in this thing. Julianne Moore was kind of fun. She was a fun villain because she's just fucking Julianne Moore. And she's... I guess this will start kind of getting into my problems with this movie. If there is one thing can say about her character is that it is kind of feeling like she's playing a female version of Samuel L. Jackson's character from the first one. And that she's really crazy and talks like this. Hi, guys. How you doing? Like, that's like how she talks throughout the whole... It's just being Julianne Moore, she can be kind of fucking creepy, but kind of awesome at the same way. And kind of... It's like... she isn't stuttering like... or it doesn't have a lisp like... it doesn't have a lisp like Samuel L. Jackson's character had in the first movie. She's just like eccentric like he is, like in a lot of ways. And it's like I hear that they want to do The Rock. Matthew Vaughn wants to bring in The Rock as the villain for the third one, which I'm fine with. But maybe tone down the eccentric villain a little bit. The Rock could be an intimidating villain, and you don't have to be eccentric. Like, I mean, he can be fun, but I don't know. We'll see. The first scene you see her is she's putting a guy for a meat grinder and making a burger out of him. I'm not fucking joking. She feeds the burger of this guy to his best friend. Like, so his best friend has to eat him, and that was like, wow, cannibalism. I was like, well, this is fucking the Kingsman, so I mean, whatever. I mean, they made, the first one had some crazy moments like that, so I wasn't too offended. I mean, at least they're not eating babies like Mother. God. But where I have problems with this movie is, it's probably the same problem I have with a lot of fucking Hollywood sequels, and I think I'm not the only one, where Hollywood thinks that more is better when it comes to a sequel. When you have a successful sequel, you gotta put more shit in it, more characters in it, just throw everything at the fucking wall and hope it sticks. That's basically been Hollywood's mantra for sequels from day one, and it's like getting really old. And it feels with this movie. There's way too many goddamn characters, subplots, that, like, and this movie is also really fucking long. It's 2.5 hours, and it does not need to be 2.5 hours. When I was going in, I looked to see how long this movie was. I went, this movie's 2.5 hours? Really? Is it that fucking necessary? And I'm like, then the movie ended, and I'm like, yeah, that did not need to be 2.5 hours. I mean, there are so many, like, if you've noticed, other than Julianne Moore, I didn't mention any of the other, like, big names that are in this film, like Jeff Bridges, Channing Tatum, Halle Berry, who else is... I'll get in the other one there in a second. But those three, off the top of my bat, there's no point to their characters in this film. Or if there is, I mean, even if there is, there's no point to them being casted as big names as they are, because they're barely in this fucking thing and serve really no fucking purpose to the movie whatsoever. I mean, I know they introduced the American version Statesman and stuff like that. But like literally, Jeff Bridges, why the fuck would you get somebody he's the leader of the Statesman? What's the point of getting Jeff Bridges if he's only in this movie for like literally 2 scenes? He's like at the like middle part of the movie and then fucks off, and then he doesn't pop up until like the very end. And I'm like, huh. So what was the point of fucking him being in this when you get like a big name actor like Jeff Bridges? Same with like Channing Tatum. He fucking disappears for half this fucking movie. I won't say how, but he disappears and doesn't pop up till the very end either. It's like, what was the point of them being in this thing? You could just cast no-name actors, and they kind of did that with the first one. So what's the? I mean, like I said, you have. It just feels pointless to have these characters and these big names and just do nothing with them. Like I said, there's way too many goddamn characters, and then they try to make Halle Berry. Okay, when you try to make Halle Berry the American equivalent of Mark Strong. Look, Halle Berry's not a bad actress, and I'll say that right off the bat. I have no problem with her. She is great. She could be a very good actress. She's no Mark fucking Strong. One is not one. It's one of those simple cases. One is not like the other, and I want to take a guess which one is not like the other. Halle Berry is just fucking pointless. I could not give a shit. Like, she as an action star is not. It's never worked, and it's never has. Even with fucking X-Men, it never did. Like I said, I don't think she's a terrible actress. As an action star, But again, like trying to be the equivalent of Mark Strong, And then you get batshit cameos that I had no idea were in this film, and the one I'm talking about in particular is fucking Elton John. I want everybody that is watching this video to raise their hand if they knew that fucking Elton John was in this movie, because I didn't. I sure as fuck didn't. So when he pops up halfway for this fucking movie, or no, not even halfway, probably a half hour into this movie, I went, what the fuck? I was like, oh, this is Elton John, a funny little cameo, because Julianne Moore's character, she's this rich drug dealer or who owns all the drugs in the world and pretty much distributes them or whatever out in the world, and so she kidnaps Elton John to just perform concerts for her at random, and I'm like, that's kind of funny, it's it's literally Elton John. First off, my first response was, holy shit, Elton John's gotten old, and two, he becomes a pretty big key integral part of this fucking film. That is weird. There's scenes where he's in his Elton John outfits, flamboyant Elton John outfits, and is kicking a bunch of guys' asses. I've never thought I would ever say that statement in my entire life. It is kind of amusing, I will admit. My favorite, one of my favorite jokes in this whole movie, I can't even believe I laughed my ass off at this, was there's a fight going on outside, and he starts banging on the piano, go, Wednesday, 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 and then one of the guards goes, I thought that song, it goes Saturday, Saturday, in the song. He's like, what day is it? What is today? He says, Wednesday. Exactly, Wednesday. Just I'm like, that was kind of funny. I was like, I won't lie, I fucking laughed at that joke. He starts beating the shit out of the guard. I was like, what the hell? Why not? It's like, I don't know what was the point of Elton John being in this. Also, listen, this is the third movie this year. This is starting to drive me nuts. That features the goddamn John Denver Country Roads Take Me Home song. Between this, Alien Isolation, and Logan Lucky, I've seen 3 movies this year have the same song be a key integral part to it. Why is this song is Hollywood so obsessed with John Denver all of a sudden? To which I asked my mom, is he making a comeback? To which she says, ain't he dead? I'm like, yes, Mom, I know he's fucking dead. I was like, but why? Why in 2017 is John Denver becoming a key integral part in Hollywood movies? But this wasn't as infuriating like Alien Isolation. I mean, now it's like kind of becoming a thing. I don't know if I'm the only one noticing this. I expect every fucking month from this point forward, I'll see a movie and it'll somehow involve fucking that song. If I do, I swear to God, I'm gonna throw something at, like, I'm like, why? What is up with that? And then also, there's a whole subplot about the president. Oh, there's like I said, there's a lot of subplots in this movie that just like go nowhere and have no point. One of the things where I started to realize this movie had some problems is when Colin Firth's character is reintroduced, and I was glad to see his character come back, but they do the stereotypical, cliched storyline where he has no fucking memory. So for about majority of this movie, about 30 minutes of this movie, he doesn't remember who they are. He thinks he's a guy who's trying to study butterflies. I was like, really? You're going with that fucking storyline? I was like, oh Jesus, like how many times why is that like a cliched story, like subplot that sequels almost always go through just to bring a character back who's we thought was dead or has disappeared, or like, why do they always have to go to that fucking storyline? That drives me nuts. And then he finally does get his memory back, spoiler alert, about an hour into the film. And then he can't remember, doesn't have, his reflexes aren't back to normal, so he's like having trouble to fight other guys and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, that's I was like, whatever, because he tries to do that manners maketh man, like a repeat of that scene from the first one, but in an American bar, and he gets his ass kicked because his reflexes are not as good as they used to be. And I'm like, and it was kind of funny then, but like, okay, that's all right, whatever. And then for some reason, that whole subplot is just dropped at the very end and never mentioned again. I'm like, okay, so what the fuck was the point of that? Like I said, that was just wasted. Like, we don't, that's not the way we wanted his character to be brought back. We just want him to be back to normal kicking ass. Just fucking, that's what we loved about Colin Firth's character in the first one. No, it's not. And we don't need that. It's like, it's what the fuck. It was pointless. And then there was a whole subplot with the president. That, when I first heard it kept mentioning the president, I'm like, okay, is this going to be like a Donald Trump-esque? Is it going to be a guy acting like Donald Trump? And is it like, I'm like, okay. I was worried, and it ended up being Bruce Greenwood who ended up being the president, and he's not Donald Trump. He's not parodying Donald Trump, but he's kind of acting like Donald Trump, and like the decisions he makes. And I found it kind of a little fishy, even though they said that they took out parts of the movie making fun of Donald Trump. I find it kind of fishy when his chief of staff's name is Fox. Don't get that joke? I'm like, really? That cannot be a fucking coincidence. And like, every time they showed any news clips throughout this movie, it was with Fox News. I'm like, what the hell, is Fox News the only news source in the world nowadays in this universe? I'm like, oh yeah, it's owned by 20th Century Fox, so I guess that makes sense. Yeah, it's just like, it felt like there was so much padding in this movie that didn't need to be there whatsoever. Man, it did not. There's a lot of just plots that just went nowhere, and you could easily edit this movie down to maybe 2 hours, maybe even less than that, and it would be perfectly fine. I still do recommend this movie, though. I had fun watching it. I did laugh my butt off for a lot of it. There was a lot of it I did laugh at, so I can't say it was terrible. It's far from the worst sequel I've ever seen. It's a step down from the first one, I will say that, but I still liked it. Before I get into the fucking previews of this film, I gotta talk about a commercial I got in front of this thing. Okay, so I'm getting into the movie theater. I bought my ticket, go into the auditorium. What's the first fucking thing I see? I see a commercial for what the hell this company's called. Let me look it up real quick. Something called Hilo Ice Cream or something like that. Somebody in the comments can tell me. Look up on YouTube, creepy ice cream commercial. And this would be one of the first things that pops up, other than the fucking little baby's ice cream commercial. Look this thing up. So, I didn't even know this was a commercial. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I just walked randomly into this. There's a commercial where this old elderly lady is sitting in a white room by herself in a chair, and she doesn't know where she's at, what's going on, and a robot comes up to her and says, "You need some ice cream. You need some ice cream. Please take this ice cream," and starts spoon feeding her ice cream, and won't stop spoon feeding her, and she's like, "I don't want any more ice cream. Leave me alone. You need ice cream. You need ice cream." And then she's like, "Where's my husband? What happened to him? Where is he?" She said, "Everybody you know died, or is gone. You need ice cream. You need ice cream." And I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this commercial? And I can't even do this commercial justice. And then, I'm like, who the fuck would want to eat ice cream after watching this commercial? It was terrifying. Look it up online. Holy shit. Like, who would eat ice cream after, this is alright. I hope they're playing this in front of little kids' movies, because this would terrify the shit out of little kids to the point they will never eat ice cream again. I almost didn't want to either. I literally had to go to the bathroom after I watched this. It literally scared the piss out. I already had to go pee before this commercial aired, and I was like, alright, I'm going to the fucking bathroom now. Holy shit, scared the piss out of me. That was the weirdest fucking commercial I've ever seen in my entire life. In a fucking theater. In a dark theater. If I see this again, I'm gonna fucking have to leave the theater every time this pops up anytime I'm in the theater anymore. That scared the shit out of me. Like, somebody's like, it felt like Stanley Kubrick made an ice cream commercial. Why the fuck would anybody make a Stanley Kubrick-esque ice cream commercial is my fucking question. Who the hell thought that was a good idea? Oh my god, you have to look it up online. But as far as trailers go, what the hell did I get? I'm 22 minutes left, so let's get through these here quick. Red Sparrow, it's if you take the movie Salt with Angelina Jolie and mix it in with Atomic Blonde, that's what you get with Red Sparrow. I think it's where Jennifer Lawrence is a Russian spy or something like that who's living in America. That's all I got out of it. It's directed by the guy who made the last 3 Hunger Game movies, so I'm like, alright. It looks like I said Atomic Blonde, but if Jennifer Lawrence was in it, okay, I'll buy it. I didn't like Atomic Blonde that much, but Salt was not bad. New trailer for Murder on the Orient Express. The only thing I can note of this trailer, I'm a big fan of these kinds of movies about murder mysteries of who done it, stuff like that. I always have been since I was little. Only thing that was distracting me about this trailer is fucking Kenneth Branagh's mustache in this film. Holy shit, is that the fakest looking mustache I've ever seen in my entire life. That is one giant fucking mustache, and you can tell how fake it looks too. It looks alright. It's got like I said, it's Kenneth Branagh making it. I'm like, he usually makes some pretty good movies, so I'm like, I'll give him shadow of a doubt. And it's got a big ass great cast in this, like Daisy Ridley and Johnny Depp, Michelle Pfeiffer. I don't know who else is in this, but it doesn't look bad. Geostorm. Jesus Christ. It's every modern day disaster movie mixed into one. Feels like, again, why would anybody build a machine that would control the weather and could easily produce superstorms when you know something that could easily get hacked by somebody and cause problems, which is what apparently this movie's happened. In this movie, somebody hacked it. Now the whole world's ending. That's like, what the fuck? Yeah, fuck whatever. The Commuter. Oh yeah, this is the new Liam Neeson film. Hell yeah, I haven't seen a new Liam Neeson action movie in a while. It's been like 2 years. I swear to God, it's been like 2 years. Actually, I don't think this won't come out until January, so it'll be 3. When was the last one? Run All Night? Was that one with Ed Harris that he did? I think that was the last theatrical released Liam Neeson action movie, which is weird because he's been making, like, turning them out like fucking they were nothing. And I'm all for it. It's like him and Vera Farmiga are on a commuter train and she's tricking him into finding like somebody that's who they say they aren't, with like thousands of dollars or millions of dollars or something like that. And it looks alright. I was like, fuck it, it's Liam Neeson going around fucking harassing people on a train and being a badass. I'm all for it. It's starting the director from Nonstop and what was that movie? What the hell was that? That one where he had amnesia, or his wife doesn't remember him or something. And he also did The Shallows. Like, alright, cool. I'm all for it. And then the last one I got was the trailer for The Foreigner. This is another one where I'm like, well, apparently they're trying to make Jackie Chan the new Liam Neeson, and where he's like an old grizzled old guy doing action movies. I'm all for that. It's Jackie Chan taking down a fucking terrorist group who killed his family. I'm all for that. This sounds like a great idea. I'm like, hell yeah, grizzled old Jackie Chan kicking ass. I'm there, dude. It's like, I'm there, dude. It's from the guy who made Casino Royale. I'm like, all right, cool. But he also did Green Lantern. He also did Edge of Darkness that came out a few years ago. I'm the only one who probably remembers that, with Mel Gibson before he went fucking crazy again. Yeah. So cool. That looks like a fun. That comes out in a couple weeks. So that's as far as trailers go. Man, I have 27 minutes. I'm gonna get the fuck out and go to bed. Alright, I'll talk to you. I'll be back in a couple of days with American Made. And until then, I'll talk to you guys